everyone, and welcome to this session. This session is called Energise. So a little bit of a change of pace. We're going to use a little bit of yoga and breathing exercises to lift our mood, lift our energy levels, and just give our day a little bit of a general lift that it needs. I use a lot of these yoga poses when I'm just feeling really sluggish, really lethargic, kind of dragging my feet around. So get yourself on the mat and we'll begin. So we're going to start this session actually already up on our feet. So take yourself to the top of your mat, the front of your mat. Take your feet actually as wide as you'd like for this. So if you want to take them a little wider, go for it. Or you can step them underneath the hips, whatever feels good. And then when you get there, I'm going to relax the arms either side of us. I'm going to gently open up the palms of my hands so that my little fingers are kind of grazing my leggings. Shoulders back, a little lift to the chest, and then I'm going to gently just close my eyes. So as usual, we're going to take these really important first few moments of the practice and really allow them to let us land on our mat ready to go. You know, sometimes I start my yoga and my brain is still 5 minutes behind me thinking about a conversation I just had or a stressful time trying to park my car or whatever's just gone on. So, closing the eyes. Let's bring the hands together, palms of the hands touch in front of the heart. You might want to take the tiniest tuck of your chin so that the back of your neck manages to stay really nice and long. And first things first, I'm just going to invite you to start to notice just general sounds that are going on around you. So as you start to find a little quiet, you might be able to hear here we've got a little bit of birds, a little bit of bird song, and maybe sounds of people passing. Maybe you can hear sounds of other people in the house or whatever space you're in. Just noticing, you might want to label each of the sounds so you can get really particular with this. Sound of a passing car, sound of birds. And just notice if your mind, your thoughts are starting to wander off a little bit. Very, very normal, so nothing to panic about. Any time that your mind wanders, just seeing if you can gently bring it back to what we're doing. Just listening, just noticing your surroundings. Now let's take that really nice wide circle of awareness that we started and just start to bring the circle a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. And I'm just now going to bring all of the focus inwards. I'm going to bring all of my attention to the top of my head, and I'm going to take a nice slow mental scan through my body, going all the way down through my shoulders, my chest, down through the belly, the hips, and all the way down into the legs. And as I scan, just noticing how I'm doing. You know, my shoulders feeling a little bit tense. Am I clenching anywhere? Maybe I've locked my knees out and they're feeling a little bit stiff. And this is all without judgment, so I'm not going, oh, that feels a bit rubbish, or that looks a bit rubbish, I'm sure. Just noticing it is what it is, and just going all the way through the body. And then when you get down to the feet, I'm going to lift all of my toes up off the mat. I'm going to try and stretch them out as much as I can. And this takes a little bit of practice. They call this yogi toes. But basically you just want to stretch out your toes and then try and lay them down on the mat. And you just try to make a little bit of space between the toes. Now, last thing, we're going to take that gorgeous focus and awareness onto the breath. We're going to take a nice, long, easy breath in through the nose. And a nice exhale out. Just any way that feels good. And again, one more nice quiet breath in. And a nice releasing exhale. Cool. Now from here, take the hands down onto the belly. We're going to take a huge breath this time, so we're really going to go for it. In through the nose. We're going to open up the mouth as wide as we can. And we're just going to sigh out a load of breath. It should almost be like you're trying to fog a mirror that's in front of your mouth. So a kind of sound. So when you're ready, you can close the eyes if you want, if you feel a bit silly. Don't worry, we'll all look silly doing it, so it's all good. Take a big breath in. And a huge exhale out through the mouth. Cool. We're going to do one more of these. These are really good for getting your energy levels up really quickly. This time, bonus points for as you breathe out, if you stick your tongue out as far as it'll go. Basically doing a version of what we call lion's breath. So again, silly but effective. So when you're ready, big breath in. And cool, pop your tongue back in your mouth. And stand up nice and tall. Release your arms and let's take a couple of rolls of those shoulders. Nice and slow, nice and easy. Maybe a little movement in the neck side to side. Maybe dropping that chin down a little bit. Basically whatever feels good, whatever way you feel like you want to move your body. And then when you're ready, we're going to take a nice breath in. We're going to lift our arms up to the sky. Loop those shoulders down and away, keep that belly engaged, and then as we exhale, we're going to allow the arms to come down again. Gorgeous. Again, you can breathe out through the mouth. Breathing in. And nice big exhale. Gorgeous. This time, really plant those feet down as we go all the way up. Big breath in. And nice slow exhale. Gorgeous. Cool, from there we lift the arms up. This time hands come together in prayer as we breathe in, and as we exhale we're going to soften the elbows, soften the knees, and we're going to come all the way down and find our first nice easy easing in forward fold. So we're going to release the head, bend the knees gently. We're going to take a nice shake of that head side to side, make sure it's nice and relaxed. Now as we breathe in, I'm going to start to sweep my hands up the front of my legs. They're going to land on the kneecaps. They might even come up onto the thighs. Perhaps I'm going to straighten out the spine. Hopefully feeling a really good stretch down the back of my legs. And then I'm going to soften back down again, folding and releasing that nice heavy head. From there, I'm going to plant my hands. Take a little weight into the hands as I walk my way back. And I'm going to step myself back into my first downward facing dog. Now I'm going to look forward, I'm going to check out my hands, so I want my fingertips as wide as they can go. So super wide fingers, really go for it. Bend the knees, send your hips gently up towards the sky and then release that head. Again, give it a little shake like you're saying no, maybe give it a little shake like you're saying yes. I'm going to take a really good bend of the knees, I'm going to really stick my hips up, I'm really trying to make a nice sharp upside down V shape. And downward dog can be really nice and energizing here. We're tipping all of that blood down towards the head. And then when you're ready, with control, I'm going to use my belly, so I'm going to engage my core to gently land my knees down onto the mat. Cool. I'm going to take my hands underneath my shoulders and I'm going to come to a nice tabletop position. Now to lift our energy levels, we need to use the body a little bit and get the blood flowing. So we're going to come up into our first plank position. Don't panic, it's not too scary. I'm going to plant the hands, I'm going to step back 1 foot first, in a nice straight leg, and then I'm going to take my other foot back. Now, I'm going to take a little walk out of those feet, a little bit like we've done in down dog in some of the other sessions. I'm trying to get my hips nice and low. I'm sending one heel down towards the back of the mat, one at a time. Then I'm going to find a little stillness here. My feet are apart. I'm going to really lift my chest. I'm imagining someone is pulling my head forward towards the top of the mat, and I'm pressing both my heels down. Now, hold it just for a second. I know it's strong, and then we're going to drop our knees. Now, from here, try not to lean back. Keep that weight in the hands. Bend the elbows, and I'm going to basically graze the sides of my body as I start to come all the way down onto my belly. My arms should be working quite hard here as I come all the way down. Now I'm going to untuck the toes and take my hands forward, making like a little basket. Feel free to squish down the mat if you're falling off the end like I am. And I'm just going to take a little wriggle side to side of the hips, and then I'm going to make myself really nice and long. Now I'm going to take my hands underneath the shoulders, tuck your elbows in. I'm going to look forward, and as you breathe in, we're going to lift head, neck and shoulders gently up off the mat. And again, I've got that lovely feeling like someone is dragging me gently forward. So I'm not looking up, I'm looking gently down. Elbows are tucked in, I'm pressing into my hands, and I'm not having to come very far. Little baby cobra, and then I'm coming all the way back down. We're going to do 2 more of these. So breathing in, I might come a little higher this time. A little bit like catching a wave, and then going all the way down, releasing that upper back. Last one. Now you can stick with baby. You might come a little higher, you might come all the way into a full cobra. Make sure those shoulders are away from the ears, lift that chest, and then catching that wave, coming all the way back down. Gorgeous. Press into those hands, come all the way back up to that nice tabletop position, and then when you're ready, we're going to tuck the toes and push back up into that nice downward facing dog. Take a good bend to the knees, look towards the top of the mat, and then I'm going to start to walk my way up, taking my feet up to meet my hands. Take as many steps as you like. And then I'm going to release the head. I'm going to press down into my feet as I bring myself all the way up in one long strong movement. Big breath in through the nose, gazing up, and then exhale, hands down in front of the heart. Cool, take a breath in. And then as we exhale, releasing the arms down. Cool. So we're going to do a little breathing exercise again to try and get as much oxygen kind of flooding the brain and the body as we can. So as we breathe in, I'm going to lift the arms up. And then as we exhale, again out through the mouth, nice big, I'm going to draw the arms in. So again, it looks pretty silly, but we're going to go for it. So big breath in. And then a nice big, you want to have that feeling like you're kind of being kicked in the gut. So 2 more of these, big breath in. And kind of martial artsy. Last one, big breath in. And cool. Release those arms. Again, if you want to, roll the shoulders. Now might be a nice time to do that. We're going to come back into a little flow. So when you're ready, breathing in. Exhale, bending elbows, bending knees, coming all the way back down into that forward fold. Releasing your head. Breathing in, nice long straight spine. And then as you exhale this time, we're going to bend the knees, pop the fingertips on the mat, and I'm going to start to slide my right toes all the way down the mat, and I'm leaving my left foot exactly where it is. You can always do a bit of a shuffle now. From here, I'm keeping my back toes tucked. I'm coming right up onto my fingertips, and I'm going to really sink into that front knee. As you start to look forward, see if you can lift your chest up off that front thigh and then really bend into it. Because at the moment we're probably all leaning into it slightly. See if you can float the fingertips off to start with. Look forward. If there's any wobbles like me, that's all right, embrace them. And then when you're ready, you're going to breathe in and come all the way up into a nice high lunge. Now, if this is really super wobbly or just feels not very doable today, try bringing that back foot up the mat a little bit. Whatever you need to do to make it work for you. Now suck that belly button in, lift up, press that back heel towards the back of the mat, get that back leg really nice and straight. Nice big breath in here. And then as you exhale, pop those hands down. Now here, really press into those hands. You're going to step that left foot back and find yourself in your nice downward dog once again. Gorgeous, bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, come all the way up the mat with those feet. You might take fewer steps this time. Come all the way up, one nice big breath in, tipping that blood down the body again. And then exhale, hands to heart. Okay, let's keep going with this, big breath in. Exhale, bend the knees, bend the elbows, softening down over those, hopefully starting to get nicely warmed legs as you release the head. Coming all the way up the front of the legs, sliding up those hands, nice long straight spine, breathing in, shoulders back. And then as you exhale, soften the knees, pop the fingertips down, and we know where we're going this time. Left toes are going all the way down the mat, leaving the right foot where it is. Now again, be fussy, try and find that place where the back foot wants to go. Bend that front knee. Just float the fingertips first of all. Lift your body up off that front thigh. I know that's tricky. Look forward and then float those fingertips up. Think strength, think strong, think shoulders down and away from the ears. Think belly button engaged. One more breath here. And then exhale, hands on the mat. Float or step your right foot back to meet the left foot. Perfect. Slowly drop those knees down onto the mat. Untuck your toes. And then we're going to sit ourselves back in a child's pose of your choice. So, knees together, or a little bit like we did in some of the other videos, nice wide knees. We're going to slide the arms forward, maybe grabbing hold of that blanket and placing it under the head, maybe not. And releasing ourselves down into a very well-earned moment of rest there. So, take about 3 nice big breaths here in child's pose. Seeing if you can breathe into the back of the body. See if you can release that chest down towards the mat every time that you breathe out. And if you find, and again this is really common, if you find that there's a big gap between your hips and your feet, don't panic, that will lessen quite quickly over time, but you can always pop the blanket on the feet and then sit back and it just plugs the gap a little bit. So last breath here, in through the nose. Nice big exhale. And then use the hands, walking them back, bringing the knees underneath you. You might lift those hips a little bit, take the blanket away, and then popping it down at the side for you. Cool, we're going to come back down. We are going to sink our hips to one side and then we're going to swing the legs around. So we're coming down onto our mat. Cool, so bringing yourself to a nice seated position. You might want to bring yourself forward on the mat a little bit, do a little bit of a wriggle. And then when you're ready, we're just going to simply lay ourselves down on the mat. So, coming down, that always feels really good on the spine, so enjoy it, have a little wriggle. We're going to finish with a nice energizing back bend. And I say energizing, basically, anytime that you do a back bend or you open up your chest or your front of the body, you are basically giving yourself a little natural kick. Sometimes people describe it as like a natural cup of coffee. So if you're a bit of a caffeine fiend, this might be a good one. So take a nice bend of the knees, reach down the mat, and you want your feet close enough that you can almost tickle the backs of your heels, maybe you even can. Plant the hands, you want the feet about hip width apart, and then when you're ready, you're going to press into those feet and you're going to start to slowly and easily float those hips up towards the sky, nice and easy. No pressure again, you want to come all the way up, lifting those hips up nice and high. And I'm going to press the palms of my hands down into the mat or into the floor so I can get up really nice and high here. Cool, now press those feet down. Think about sending your feet down and away from you towards the back of the mat. And think about lifting your chest up towards your chin. And then your chin gently up and away, so you're really opening the front of the body. Take one more breath here and lift those hips up just 1/4 of an inch higher. And then from there, we're going to take the slowest roll back down to earth. Close your eyes so you can feel every moment. The top of the spine should come down first, then the middle of the spine. Finally, the bottom of the back hits the mat. And then eventually we come down. And you should find after a couple of times of doing this one, that should get easier and easier. You start to really feel the benefits of that on your back. We're going to finish by hugging the knees in, draw them in towards the chest. You might find that nice easy rock that we've discovered in some of the other sessions. Closing the eyes, slowing things down. And just allowing yourself to feel really nice and heavy, relaxing that space between your eyebrows. From here, we're going to release the legs, coming into our Shavasana, so our nice final position, our relaxation. If you want to lay a blanket over yourself, that might be nice. Take any final wriggles, and then to really finish this one in style, we're going to start to squeeze the palms of the hands. I'm going to squeeze my toes and my feet. I'm going to squeeze my belly, hips, shoulders, face. So you look a little bit crazy, but squeeze everything. Squeeze your back of the legs, the knees, the chest, the shoulders. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then, breathe out and relax. And you can start to let go now of all of those big, energizing breaths, because actually here in our Shavasana we hardly need any breath at all, just the tiniest amount. Just feel all of that energy settle, maybe enjoying the thought that all of that energy gets stored up for the week ahead, so you get that extra little boost with whatever you've got going on. And just spending your final few moments here in your Shavasana. So, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed energizing your day. Remember, you can do this one as often as you like. It's a really good one for the morning. And I will see you next time. Namaste.